The female players cannot survive with the revenue what they earn in women's football. So they rely more on the government job. Government has been very good to all the players that they release the players for the national duty. So a lot of players who are representing the country have government job. When our FIFA ranking was 53 and 56, I think that time if we could have pushed ourselves, all the clubs, it would be a different story, because our grassroots is so behind that the talent pool, especially for the female players, are very less. The players calendar is smaller, the player pools are very small. 2021 was a turning point for women's football. Before that, the entire football philosophy was to just kick the ball long and run. But 2021, we started keeping possession, and a lot of clubs started taking initiative to keep possession. Now, the reason I'm talking this, because from there the technical ability starts. Like I said, we don't have a grassroots, but the players, even in the senior team, a lot of players are there who are hungry to learn, and that's what you want. This is the hard work of years what these players were dreaming, and all these players who've played even in the senior team, they've been part of the federation for a long time from the youth setup, because they're also dreaming for the country to go to Australia and play. So more than the country's dream, they are also dreaming. They also want to do good for the country, irrespective to whatever comes next year in Australia. I am 200% sure all these girls will die for the badge. For me, it's been a long journey to not only work in the youth system, but also to be part of the senior men's side and the women's senior. So I have worked in both men's and women's, and I've been very lucky to do so. I think very few coaches have that, but yeah. So it's going on, and I think I'm very happy doing what I'm doing now.
Perfect. So we'll still be with your journey at the moment, because you started with youth coaching, and I think it was men's coaching that you started with initially, and then
Yeah.
you transit into women's football. So why did this transition happen, and what was the idea behind this? Tell us a little bit about the starting of the journey.
Uh, to start women's team, to be a coach in the women's team, I know it's a different game ball. Having said that, the principle will always remain the same, but to come into women's team directly, I think I've been blessed that I have got an opportunity at the right time. I was doing very good in my youth teams, and I was very happy upgrading myself and learning. But as coaches, I always feel that you should always have challenges in what you are doing. And I think these challenges came through my friend that that time I think Gokulam was looking for a coach, and I think and they were pretty impressed to have me there. So I joined them as an assistant coach, and later, after 3 months, I was promoted to the first team head coach. Uh, but I think I did a very good job taking my first role as an assistant coach, because when I went there, it was very different comparative to the men's game. Because not only managing them on the field, but also taking care of them in the dressing room was also something very new to me. Uh, but before going to Gokulam, I have taken around 6 months, 7 months to just understand the women's football. And I think I'm very lucky also to have sisters around me in my family. So it took me 6 to 8 months just to understand before even saying yes to Gokulam and taking that opportunity. And grateful for the club who believed, who have given a youngster, a person who has no experience in women football, a chance to prove himself, and and they believe that I can contribute to the club. So that's how it happened, Gokulam, and from there on, I did not look back. Kept on working women's football. But after a year, I thought, no, I think I'm not, I won't be able to survive for a longer period of time. And it, like I said, it's different. Coaching men's and women's, the pace of the game, everything is very different and new, and it was very new for me. And I told the owner that I want to go back to the men's side. he offered me a job in the men's side. I worked as a first team assistant coach in the men's side, and after my season with the first team men's, exactly, and that time the IWL was supposed to start. He offered me again, and I thought if I can. So the second season of mine, I did men's team half, and then I went to women's team, and that's how now full time coach, giving everything as a full time coach to the women's team now. So yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So you mentioned about a 6 to 7 month period where you tried preparing yourself to get into the women's system in football. So I think this is very important to know more about this, because as in women's football will be growing in India, there will be more and more coaches who will be interested to start with women's football coaching, etc. So tell us a little bit about this 6 to 7 months period. In what did you learn, and what was the mindset that you had to build before getting into the system?
So firstly, I connected to a lot of people who have already worked in women's game. Coaches like JD Almeida, or JD Almeida, Ashwita Shetty. So I connected to all the people who I knew was working in the women's game, and I understood the difficulties and challenges what a coach is facing. But what I have understood through all the conversation, whatever I had studying, researching all these things to understand women's psychologically and physical structure is very very important for any coach to step in as a coach. So when I did all my research and everything, I sat with my family, and we never had a discussion on their cycles. I think 5 6 years back, even I was not aware uh, of all these things. But when I spoke to my parents and understood all these things, sitting with my sisters and my mother, now, understanding, I think my first guru was my parents, my sisters, helping me to understand uh, how much pain they go through and what challenges they face as a person. So, uh, first hand experience with my own sisters to understand the cycle and
So
how
are
we
your
need to.
sisters also playing football at some level,
No, no,
semi-professional or
no,
something?
no, no,
Okay.
no, no, no. My sisters are not from the sports background, but to understand, because as a coach, now we don't realize how much to put load, how to train, manage the mood swings. There are a lot of things a female goes through in a month, and if you calculate as a coach, the training time is very less for any female. The preseason is very less for any coach to prepare also. In that month you have 4 Sundays, then this cycle for a week or 7 days, then the lot of mood swings. Start with zero, take care of that, take care of every single thing so that the player is safe, and that person feels that they are, she's in a safe environment. Give them space, understand individual things. So there were a lot of things into details I have gone through, studied about it around 6 months. And when I went as an assistant coach, it was, again, it was every player is different from one another. Every personality was different in terms of pain, in terms of mood swings, in terms of performing on the pitch. So there were a lot of things you need to analyze individual. So I think I've been very lucky to start off as an assistant coach to understand how things work in the dressing room, how things work off the pitch, in on the training ground, and that really helped me. And from there on, I started understanding, taking started putting notes, started using a lot of software, Google calendars to track their cycles so that we get notifications. So, like for example, I will give you a female have a cycle on 17th. Now, so what with my team now, what we have started, we started taking care for them after, like, before 2 days. So let's say 17, we start taking care of 14 night, 15 night. We start, like, we keep check on that player, and the notification starts for me, my entire staff, physio, masseuse, my SNC coach, assistant coach, and we start keeping track on this, and we keep check on that player. When is it happening? Do you need space? Do you need to come on the training session? So we make sure that the environment for that players are safe and they're open to have discussion and all these things, and it's normal. We are trying now. I understand we have a lot of challenges, but we are trying now to make things normal, for that player can speak and take this as a normal thing and don't force herself and get injured or get sick or whatever XYZ reason. So now we've been very lucky and players are very comfortable now in sharing all these things. So yeah.
So to conclude all this, I think it would be a very difficult job for someone to transit from men's to women's football because of keeping all these things in mind.
Yeah, definitely. See, like people say that you can coach, but what I believe is, like I said before, that the principle of the game remains same. But the job outside the field is very difficult. And to understand that, you need to have a lot of patience. You need to understand a lot of individual character on the pitch and off the pitch. So it is a difficult job, to be honest. It is not an easy job. But if you do this, that's how the success, or that's how you keep on winning, because the player gives everything for you, because you understand them better.
Absolutely, absolutely. So you had some great moments at Kokulam, and now you are at East Bengal, and you have recently won the PK Banerjee Memorial Award as well. So I think you joined in October 2024. How has the journey been with East Bengal so far?
The journey has been amazing, to be honest. Being part of such a historic club, and coming here, experiencing firsthand the fan culture, the people who give everything for this club, come on the ground and support. Obviously, it's a privilege, an honor to be part of this organization. But working here, you have an extra responsibility. I would not say pressure, but you have an extra added responsibility, not only from the club side, but also from the fan side, that they look up to you for the betterment of the club, to win more trophies for the club, and they keep on backing you. So it was not an easy season for us. Obviously, a lot of people thought, started assuming that we will win, but unless you work, put things on the ground, and win every single game, that was something which we were focusing on.
So
Focusing on.
it wasn't a dominating season. It wasn't a dominating season, you would say.
Yeah,
It was a
yeah.
very competitive.
Competitive. It was very see, it was competitive because fan made it competitive, to be honest with you. Because when people come and watch you in the stand, not only the home team, but the away team also start performing better. They also start, because the fan pressure is there. The fans are chanting for you. The fans are putting pressure on the players. So both team eventually play well. And I think with all the games what we played in our home, we had good support this season. And this was the first season, even in my career, to see so many fans coming in the stand. More important, people covering women's football. IWL have got a massive coverage also this season, including East Bengal media team have done a fab job to promote all these players at a good level, I would say. So yeah, it was a collective effort to win. Like also you mentioned, to win a PK Banerjee award. I think I'm like it is a dream come true for any coach who get this award, because a man with so much of history and legend, who have proven record, and you get an award on his name, you obviously have an extra motivation to work. And to be honest, now I feel more responsibility. If somebody, a club especially, awarding you with this award, um, this shows your hard work as well, but there's also an added responsibility for you to do better in the coming season.
So what's the upcoming responsibility, the Champions League group stage?
Yeah. The Champions League is online now. It's from here. We have only 5 days. We fly on 21st. Yeah, and it's an added responsibility now, and we really want to do good things at a global level. The club have supported all this female, not only me, all this female with their with a good infrastructure, good training facility, good food. For me, with my good coaching staff, now it's our time to. They have done their job. Now it's our time to push ourselves
Yeah.
and do whatever is in our control in Cambodia.
Yeah. So we talked right now about the fact that it was a competitive season. Women's team. If we talk East Bengal broadly, we understand it's a legacy club. So even if they are investing in women's football, it would be massive. Are there other clubs also who are doing the same and creating that competitive environment?
See, the clubs are coming and they're taking interest now. When we were when we our FIFA ranking was 53 and 56, I think that time if we could have pushed ourselves, all the clubs, it would be a different story. But you cannot blame everybody here because our grassroots is so behind that the talent pool especially for the female players are very less. The players calendar is smaller. The player pools are very small. So even if you want to open an academy, it's a challenging task. Also, the competition calendar for before it was just 1 month and 2 month. I think this is the second season where we are playing for 4 months, and that is an away home and away format. So obviously, clubs like Gokulam, East Bengal they're doing a fab job, including Kickstars, all the IWL. I can understand there's so much of pain to run an IWL club, especially only for 2 or 3 months, 4 months, and you pay the entire salary. Before it was just 1 month, 2 months, but the club is doing everything, whatever is in their capacity and control. Whatever they can do, they can contribute. They are doing it. Having said that, we need more clubs like this, and more I League and ISL club coming in will have a massive impact on women's game. We will improve not only in Asia, but we can also improve beyond that. Also, the talent pool will increase because the more number of clubs we have, the more number of players we will have. And at this moment, I think we have a lot of youngsters coming up, stepping up, and taking responsibilities. That is something which is very, very
And where are
important.
these youngsters coming from?
They are coming from the academies only. They are coming from the club academy. Like for example, if you see, just taking my example, we have scouted a lot of young talents from all rural areas. We started our camp so early, so there were around 15 to 20 female players who were playing in a smaller clubs, who were playing in their local areas. So we called them, we trained them, we were training them, and then we thought. So now, when we did that we did not do trials. We did a camp, a proper camp for a month, where we monitored this player not only for 2 days, 3 days. We monitored for 30 days to be part of our team. You're understanding? So the players are coming from the academy only, right? We don't have a proper scout, to be honest with you. Even if we have scouts, they are just filling the spots, to be honest with you. From where we have got good players, even if there is a scout, right? So most of the players are coming from the rural areas, um, outskirts areas. Yeah, there are few players who are coming from the city also, but I think the more talent pools are coming from the rural side. So I think if we can get these players, train them professionally, obviously they can contribute a lot to our country.
Exactly. So we'll talk about the places and from where these players are coming from. But I think the fact that you mentioned that lack of infrastructure and even grassroots programs compared to the men's, I think it's really far, far behind. But regardless of all this, we are seeing the first team making history and going to the Asian Cup. The under 20 team qualifying after 2 decades to the under 20 Asia Cup. How is all this happening? And when, like, for example, see, I wouldn't call this a overnight success that we defeated certain countries and we qualified to the Asia Cup. Even though we didn't have the best facilities, these girls were putting in the efforts and they were outperforming themselves every time they got an opportunity, and that's how they made it to the top. So take me back a little bit in their journey. And from your coaching perspective, you tell me that when was the time that you felt, okay, now we think that these girls are gonna do something great for the country, and I think the Asian Cup is a easy qualification. Not an easy, but Asian Cup is a possibility.
Uh, so when, I think 2021, um, 2021 was a turning point for women's football, because that year when I stepped in 2020 and 21, before that the entire football philosophy was to just kick the ball long and run. But 2021, we started keeping possession. We started learning how to keep possession. And a lot of clubs started taking initiative to keep possession. Now, the reason I'm talking this, because from there the technical ability starts. Like I said, we don't have a grassroots, but the players, even in the senior team, a lot of players are there who are hungry to learn, and that's what you want. Having said that, all these players who were with good professional clubs, they were technically getting better, and in that period of time they had a lot of exposure tours. Under Thomas Denevy, they played a massive tournaments. What I mean by this is friendlies. They also played against Brazil. That was a learning curve for them. So a lot of players were there, dreaming for this. Unfortunately, what happened is the COVID hit and a lot of things happened and players could not perform. But this players' dream were through the dream was alive, right? And if you could have seen, a lot of player was broken, and they wrote a lot of social media posts, and it was because I was seeing them, they were emotionally drained because they really wanted this bad, because the club was working towards it, the federation was working, the coaches were working towards it. Thomas coach was continuously in touch. When I was there, even in Gokulam, he used to ask how are things happening, because we had more number of players in our club, and we were training them almost for 6-7 months, because that time we were also playing in AFC, right? So he was continuously in touch with all these things. So majority of these players were in the camp with us, and they were developing, because that time the player had less days for the camp, right? Hardly 1 week, 2 week, 3 week, max a month. Right now we have started at least giving 4 week, 8 weeks of camp, or 6 weeks of camp. But the dream was alive. So now when you see this, there's a pure hunger, dedication when a player is stepping on the pitch. There's a lot of difference when you see they step on the pitch. They are very hungry. They are running. They're running. They're covering all the spaces, all the patches wherever they can, and they're working as a team. So this is the hard work of years. What these players were dreaming, and all these players who've played even in the senior team, they've been part of the federation for a long time from the youth setup. All these players, Anju, Panthoy, Ranjana, Sanju, all these players, Ratan, Grace, Pyari, all this you name, and I will tell you, all these players were part of that squad, right? And they've been dreaming. The youngster who we have added maybe will be Rimpa and all, but all these players are the core. They were the core of that time also, and they were hungry. And this time they got an opportunity and they proved themselves. What my point to tell you is, every single person in life need an opportunity to express and to take that opportunity, right? And we have given them the platform. All these players have done it for the country. And you see, even in Australia, I am sure, irrespective to the result, they will fight for the badge. They will fight for a country. They will fight till the last minute. That because now if I see this player, whoever in our camp also, we have started from 18th of April, and when I see them, there's a different behavior, there's a different motivation for them, and every single person, even in our camp, whenever we are treating or whenever we are training them, they're giving their 100%, because they're also dreaming for the country, to go to Australia and play. So yeah, it's a process which is happening from 2020 2021.
Exactly. So it is indeed a long term process. But
Yeah.
we talked about the shortage of competition, like the duration. And I think 2 days back, there was an article on Olympics.com where even Manisha was talking. She gave an interview and she was expressing her thoughts on the lack of time the women footballers are getting to play in the IWL and the national exposure, everything. How can we change all these things? What kind of collective efforts are required to make a change in this?
See, I am very optimistic about the future. We have already made progress in recent year. In 2021, 22, 23, we were 53, 56 ranking. All of a sudden, we went to 70. That was the latest FIFA ranking what we had, and now we went to 63. Right? That
Yes.
was the very downfall for us. But what I believe is, as a country, when you are at 53, the biggest question mark is how are we coming down? Right? Coming.
How do you think like the biggest factors for us to coming down to 70? What do you think was it?
I think we need right people in right teams. Yeah. And we need more time with the players, more training camps, and more calendars, a bigger calendar, like you mentioned in
So these were the missing factors.
Exactly, exactly. So now, if you see the IWL from the last year, like I said, from last two season, we are doing home and away. So basically, if you play for 4 months, you are training for 6 months, right? So out of a year, at least you have 6 months of proper training, proper competitive games. Even though the games are not enough for any players to develop, but at least they have training time, which we are lacking. I feel that people were believing more just playing game, and they think that they will become better. That, or on one hand, that is better. But unless you don't train, how are you going to play good games? Right? Just standing there for a sake of standing on, I'm in the national team or I'm in playing 11. That is not good, right? For the development. If there is a good training, eventually you will see this player performing good on the pitch. So now, after like I said, from last 2 years, you can see the improvement of the players, technically, tactically, physically. You can see massive changes. Before it wasn't, and I think that was one of the reasons that we went behind as well. More important, that we started giving time to these players. Again, I'm repeating that we started giving times to this player, not only with the club but also with the federation. This was the first camp that they have got, and all the players were at their peak. They were fit. They just went from the club to the club, to the federation, to the national team, right? So they were physically fit. Now you just have to lay the plan and tell them that this is what you have to do, and you have the best talent pool in the team. Now you have to choose who can fit into your system and who can be good for our country, and you play them, right? I can understand there are a lot of back end work as well, but the players coming from the club, your half job is done. You don't have to start from zero, right? But like you said, we need a collective push to do all these things, not only from the federation but from the state association, academies, grassroots academies, rural areas, whoever is running a women's program in multiple ways. Let's say it's a pay and play process, or just NGOs or whatever. I think all these things we should support them. The state association should support this. The federation should support whatever, in whatever capacity we can. Providing boots, football, a school ground can also help. So there are multiple ways that we can develop, and if we can align all these things together, I think we can, in a year or two, you can see more success from the women's team.
Sitting here right now on this conversation, we're playing the Asian Cup next year. Are you imagining India qualifying to the FIFA World Cup?
Um, to be honest, what I believe is that the girls will give 200%, because I see every single day in their eyes they are dreaming. And what I also believe is there is nothing impossible. Everything is possible if you have that heart to work, if and if you can give 100% on that given day. And we have seen over the years, and the girls who are performing at the moment, and the girls who um are also dreaming for this. So more than the country's dream, they are also dreaming. They also want to do good for the country. So I am sure, but like I said in the initial conversation, irrespective to whatever comes next year or in Australia, I am 200% sure that all these girls will die for the badge to play on the pitch. You see, we will see different human beings. I will say we will see different animals on the pitch fighting every ball. You see.
That will be a revolutionary movement for Indian football.
Yeah.
I mean,
Hopefully.
I
Yeah,
can't
yeah.
just
I'm sure. I'm sure.
that's the dream, that it will be a revolutionary point, and more people, more investments, more corporate investments will fall into the game, because at the end of the day, the national team is the face of the football today. If whatever we're seeing with the men's team, also to some extent the national team has to perform to get Indian football to a upwards graph. That's what we believe. So let's get to one of the important points. Sports, it's not just about football or any other sports, but in India, women in sports is also not a very acceptable topic. Now people are starting to accept that. And when we talk about rural areas, we talk about traditional people, we talk about people with traditional mindset, old mindset, who have not yet developed with how the things are working, right? And we say that most of the women's footballers who are coming today are coming from rural areas. What is the mindset of the parents of who are letting their kids to go and play football? What's the mindset?
See, any ruler player coming to the sport, to any sport, obviously out of them there is passion or there is hunger that they want to play for the country. They want to play football because they love football. But at the end of the day, all these players who are coming from a ruler side, their back of their mind is that, or rather it's a back of their head is that whether they will get a government job or not, because they are sacrificing a lot. Education in rural area, you also know, it's a challenging task, right? And all these players coming for sports, they have only hope that if they play nationals, if their player plays national, if they represent the country or they do this or that, they will get a government job. And the government is also very supportive. They have given them job, because you also know for a fact that the female players cannot survive with the revenue what they earn in women's football, or let's say even in sports, yeah, in general. So there is nothing, so they rely more on the government job, which a player, when and they play for the nationals and xyz whatever they play, they try to put the certificates and they go and give their trials, and if they get selected, few players continue and few players drop, because at the end of the day there is a survival series, you have to do it. Government has been very good to all the players, that they release the players for the national duty, yeah, and that is paid leaves, right? You get your salary you get your salary on time. I think that is something which is very very good. uh, but when it comes to club duty, the government obviously have to think twice, because if a government servant is running full year and you expect a salary 12 months in their account, it is difficult. So a lot of players who are representing the country have government job, yeah. So that's how their lifestyle or their earning is happening, right? But when they come to club, and if a club manages to pay or compensate what they are earning, they can take a sick leave or whatever XYZ reason. And if the government is if the government can release them because the development or betterment of football, they do that. Some players I have seen that they come on no pay also. Yeah, that is also biggest challenge for women's. Some players, they don't even get good money in the club, okay, and they still manage to get money, a decent money from government, yeah, where they can survive with their family. But because of the love and passion, okay, they don't even think about it and they come and play for the club. Yeah. So now, before, like I said, it was 1 month and 2 month, players were still adjusting. Now, since we are talking about the development and all these things, if a person coming, leaving the job and coming for 4 months or 6 months to train, it is very very difficult. And not only me as a club, the all the clubs are facing, but the same issue. But we also understand as coaches or as stakeholders or as CEO, president, club owner, manager. We also understand in whole that uh, that the future for these players uh, are very challenging, because the financial sustainability is not there, and any person to live their good life, a healthy lifestyle, you need financial backup. And whatever they are running, it's coming through government, it's coming through a job. Yeah. And few players are very lucky that they have government jobs, so we also allow them to go. And some players, they don't come for the matches. It's okay. And if we are signed, we do pay them. Yeah. That is also challenges. And like I said, like I told you initial stage, initial in our initial conversation, that it's a challenging task for a club to run a women's football, and I completely understand that.
I think as and as we are getting into the conversation and getting to know more about women's football, it definitely tells us that when they are at the top level, when they are wearing the national team jersey, what makes them give 200% of their selves.
Yeah.
So I think this is what gives the motivation, right? Acha, there is also one more traditional issue that comes into picture is also like marriages and all, early marriages from the families. Have you ever faced these kind of challenges with your players? Your players have come up and told to you that I'm having certain pressure from my parents. Would you like to talk to them once, convince them once? Have you faced these kind of challenges also?
Yes, we as a coach, I did face all these challenges, and few players are already married and they have stopped playing football. We tried speaking to the parents as well, but like I said, uh, for any female to play sports in our country, it's challenging. It is challenging socially, financially, and infrastructural challenges. There are a lot of challenges a female go through. And when I say this, I also, even if I convince the parents, we know the drawbacks of our country, and we also know that uh, after any injury to all this, like any player, what will be the next step? When I say financial, even if you are injured, it takes lakhs to recover, and you have to have a year or two patience to come back to return to sports. You're understanding? It's a massive task to convince parents. It's another task, because parents obviously think betterment of their girls, because they think getting married the only solution, that they will be happy
Security.
or their life is secured. And sports, their life is not secured. The players who are fighting all these things, credit to them, they are like absolute legend, who gives everything to the sports. But few players who come from this background, and to educate the parents is also a big task, because the environment also plays a big task to educate parents and to educate kids. Their mindset, the culture is like that only, that after 18 to 22 the girls have to get married, or they have to find jobs, or they have to do this or do that. Every culture is different. We are living in a country, in a diverse country, I would say, where every state have different challenges what they're facing. So this is there. But now what I see, the media talking about women's sports in general, not only about sports, any other, not only about football, but in general, the sports. I think that things are going in every television, every phone, every YouTube thing, and parents are also watching. That is something very, very important. Now, small reels are also helping to educate parents also, including small kids. The Now if you see 12 years, 13 years old, 15 years old girls also using phone, so they can also take this as a professional career. And they just need a good guidance, they just need a good support to come forward. There is a ray of hope, and this can only happen, what I feel, that is my opinion, that this can only happen through media houses, through 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 YouTube channels, through Instagrams, through all the social media app, where a small
The
messages to the parents.
awareness, the
Aware,
awareness is the
yes,
first step. The first step
yes,
is the awareness that hits the mind to rethink about their sporting career,
correct,
to let
correct,
educate, and also to motivate. I mean, just look at how girls have performed made history with the under 20, the national
correct.
team, and now I've seen people who never used to, like, I follow a few of celebrities these that like usually we do, and I've never seen those people sharing stuff around football in general, Indian football,
Yeah,
but they are also now taking it and
yeah,
sharing it to their network,
yeah,
and that's what is creating the awareness. So I mean,
yeah.
it's really great. Before we end, yeah, you're saying something?
No, no, go ahead. Go ahead.
Yeah, no worries, no worries. So I wanted to know, before we end this discussion or come to a conclusion, what is a basic pathway? I mean, see, as we speak, there are a lot of challenges in football in general, not in women's football. Lot of challenges. But if there is a player who is ready to give it all, and who is being supported by her parents to some extent, what's a basic pathway for her to make it to a top level in the country?
Uh, to go and enroll herself or in an academy where you are surrounded by good people, good professionals. Because if you are around with good people, you will eventually become good only. Any person who want to who look who are looking their career into sports at a very young age, and you are being blessed with your parents supporting you, you can take that advantage. Try finding academies, try finding professionals around you, get yourself polished, get yourself technically correct, and do, like, work really hard towards what you're doing, and then there is no look back. Because the reason I'm saying that, because we, like I said, we have very less player pool, and it is very easy for female players to come to the club and to the national team, because we don't have so many numbers. So any person, if you are training under with good professionals and they have connections, they can put you in an academy and club, and from there on, you will grow only.
100%, 100%. So, concluding this discussion, what is your message to all the girls? I think most of these girls have trained under you, who are right, who will be playing in the Asian Cup, and maybe in the under 20 also there might be some girls. So, what is your message to all these girls who have made you proud and are now have made the country proud as well, but now are going on a verge of making a history for their country? What's your message to all of them?
We are very proud of all of them, not only coaching community, but we are the club, the management, all the people who work behind them are very, very proud of what they have achieved. This is the true hard work has paid off, and they've been dreaming, they've been working really hard from years and years. We are there for you always. We are just one call away. Whenever you need us, we'll be always there to support all these girls. What we can do, what we can offer them is our best wishes, and whenever they need the facilities, the training, the coaches are always available. I personally will be always available for them whenever they need my help, in wherever they need me, and whatever is will be in my control, I will definitely, and whatever will be in my capacity, I will be always there for them, in developing them, not only in technical and tactical, but also making sure that they set an example for the other younger generation player, where they become a role model. So I will always be there for them.
So, thank you so much, Anthony, for the amazing time that you have had today. It was an honor talking to you. and we hope to see you soon again on Chakde Football.
Thank you. Thank you. Firstly, thank you for doing this. Thank you for talking about women's football. You guys are doing an amazing job, you and your team. Please continue that. Keep supporting the women's game as much as you can. Like you said, I'm sure that you will put it every corner of it. And with your podcast, a lot of young players, I hope and I pray, a lot of young players choose this sport and make their career and earn through this and make their living out of it. And this is something which we will look forward to it. Thank you for having me here. It was pleasure talking to you and on Women's Heap.
Thank you so much, Anthony.